Welcome everyone to the season finale of Mike North's Early Bear Special. My name is Aldo Gandia, and the handsome gentleman next to me on the TV screen there is, of course, Mike North. Mike, how are you, my friend?
Well, I'm doing great, Aldo. It's good to see you, and I'll tell you this. I mean, it's been an exhausting week. I'll tell you why in a few minutes. But, yeah, the hair looks good today because basically I was so tired this morning. I got up, and I think I discovered something. I didn't even realize. I go, boy, this stuff seems different than my other hairspray. I was spraying Tenactin on my hair today, the jock itch, before I even realized that I've been doing it for about 20 seconds. So then I combined it, got the hairspray out and combined it. And to be honest, it's the best hair day I've had in a while. So I might have found something out new. Sometimes things happen by accident and you discover a new remedy for things. So no, I'm excited to be back. I mean, we did what people normally do. We took 2 weeks vacation. We come back for one show and then we call it off.
That's right.
And it's not our fault. We would have liked to seen the Bears do much better. But I thought we were out of the playoffs basically after game 3, but that doesn't matter anymore.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah. But it's good. Happy New Year.
Likewise.
To all the outlets that we deal with, the folks at the bar room, and of course AM 1000 doing very well. Thank you very much, everybody doing well.
Yep.
And the odds couple, my friend Carmen and everybody, Carmen DeFalco, and then Visson. They've been great to me, and Matt Humans, Mitch and Paulie Howard with the best morning TV show in the market. Or in any market, because it's a gambling show, and thank God for them. Otherwise, I'd be asked to watch the trash I've seen this week, for God's sake. I mean, it's just been, as a guy that's been in the media business for 31 years, let me just say it. I appreciate the 50% of the people that were on the air that were genuinely sincere. I don't appreciate the posers and the clowns that made it all about them. Now, you tear up, of course. Okay? You feel bad. But there are people still giving eulogies to a kid who we were all rooting for. That's okay now. That's coming along. And when I say okay, that means he's breathing on his own. He's talking to people now. He's neurologically fine. He will be back. The first 3 days, I was like everybody else. My way of praying is, I hope he's okay. That's it. The media thinks 360 million people walking into polls worried about this one story. We move on. That's just the way I'm built. If you want to worry about him now, go ahead. But it's been overly done, in my opinion. I've seen and this is where I bring up my guys, Paulie and Mitch. I didn't see this. Bart Scott, who former athletes on TV, as Howard Cosell said, would be the bane of existence. Bart Scott blaming the receiver of the Bengals for what happened to this kid. He should be gone. You can't say stuff like that. For what? For what? And they were disgusted. I was disgusted hearing it. Okay? And then you got Rex Ryan yesterday. And he's getting enough of it on social media. I'm a father. I'm a coach. I'm a friend. He didn't die. You're giving a eulogy. He's a legend. No, he's not. The people that worked on him are. Those are legends. All of a sudden, it's God. God does the guidance. But there's people that go out and take care of it. And now, it's okay to pray on TV. I heard it was the worst thing that could happen. You got coaches in this country have to go to the Supreme Court to get their jobs back for praying. So I'm not going to mention one more guy. I thought his whole family was killed the way that he acted. And life is about acting. And TV is about acting, but you can overdo it. And I've been in the business long enough to know who overdoes it. Those are 4 people. That's it. Everybody else, fine. But enough. He's fine. We move on. I saw Jack Tatum turn a guy that I had interviewed, Darryl Stingley from Marshall High School, into a paraplegic on the football field. Oh, what happened to this kid is the worst I've ever seen. Well, you haven't seen much. Darryl Stingley was in a wheelchair for the rest of his life, eating his food from a tube. And I got to hear this is the worst thing? It was terrible. But all America's with you. Of course we are. But I've been to wakes lately of very dear friends of mine, and I feel bad for them. They didn't take the death of their spouses or their loved ones or friends of mine harder than they took this. Nobody even heard of the guy. Half the people in this country. We feel bad for him, and I'm glad he's okay. But then the nonsense of the playoffs. Ramifications. My deal is this. In the old days, Aldo knows this because we've been there. You finish the game. Honest to God, folks, you finished the game. First, you played the game, finished the game, went to the hospital, presented the game ball to the family and hugged them. That was it. They played, and Carmen, my good friend Carmen DeFalco didn't notice, and neither does most of the media, because they have no historians or anybody that's older to tell them this has happened before. Chuck Hughes died on a football field in front of all our very eyes in 1971. I was with my friends watching the game. It took the trainers literally 10 minutes to get out there, it seemed like. Butkus was waving them on. So am I to believe God planned that? No, the human beings that were assigned by God didn't get their asses out there, if you want to play the religious angle. Thank God for the first responders, because God has taken their place all of a sudden. Everything I've heard is about first responders. He's fine. God played a hand. Thank the first responders. Period. I'm very relieved about this. Now, I stopped watching the coverage after Wednesday. Enough. I bet golf. I watched it, and anytime his name came up, I switched the channel and watched the congressional stuff, which wasn't any better. But at least I needed to get away from it because they're overkilling it now. And I know you've been in TV, you've won Emmys, I've won Emmys, and you and I know posers in life that could care less about this guy. I know a guy that could care less about anybody, and he was almost weeping on the air. So we know there's actors. Everybody acts. If I see Eldo, and I don't really want to talk to him, and I'm walking down the street, and Eldo, I pretend I don't see him. And then Eldo goes, Mike, hey, Eldo. I didn't see, I was looking down. That's acting.
Exactly.
That's acting. If I ring the doorbell at Eldo's house, and Eldo is hiding, and his wife, Donna, comes, Nike went up. That's acting. So there's actors and there's real stuff out there. You decide for yourselves. I'm fine. The kid's going to do well, and I'm happy that he's okay. But now there's ramifications, Aldo, about the playoffs. And the playoffs are the Buffalo Bills have reaped the benefits of this over anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Because they have a guy on top named Roger Goodell who gets $44 million a year. And they still don't have a decision on a neutral site. The owners didn't get together till Thursday or Friday while everybody in America is on their knees. Please. These guys are walking around having champagne cocktails and not getting together. $44 million a year. And you can't come up with something better than this? They should have played this game over. Or they should have finished it on Wednesday. Oh, we can't do that. Yeah, you can. They played football, and I was going to bring this up. Carmen didn't notice the Falco, and neither do most people. Friday, we were in school. Might have been Thursday. President Kennedy got his head shot off. Literally, his head ended up in his wife's lap.
Mm-hmm.
They played football that Sunday, the NFL. Now, the AFL, a lot of call, and they took heat ever since then. Okay? That was an assassination. I heard Josh Allen say something that was unbelievable. We asked Damar if it was okay if we play. Wait a minute. So what happened? We asked Damar's family if it's okay if we play. So if they said, nah, you know what? I don't think you guys should play anymore this year. Or we're going to sit the team and not play in the playoff? The nonsense is stifling. He's okay. Let's move on.
Let me ask you this, Mike. Do you mentioned that you thought maybe that the game should have been played after the accident
on Wednesday.
Okay, but
I wish it, or maybe the commissioner brings them in because this guy doesn't know what to do anyway, and talks to them and says, "There's ramifications, folks." And they go, "What do you mean?" Well, first of all, Kansas City won't have a home field advantage, and they may deserve it, and they do. Or you guys, you may have it. Everything's got to break right. The Bengals are screwed, okay? And so are the Ravens if you don't play equal amount of games.
Right.
And they said, you know what? And I heard Rob Nikowski go, football players are built to move on. He said, football players are built to move on. No, you quit. And I don't blame you that day. But you have to play the game. So I would have played it the next day. Myself, I mean, guys, you're pros. The show must go on. That used to be something that was a staple, and that was my staple. I never missed a show in my life, ever. 31 years in the business, 16 with the Score, never missed a show. Going on 5 years with ESPN 1000, never missed a show. Marina City. One of the most beautiful buildings I think we can agree in the world. 3 guys fell down an elevator shaft and died. They kept working. That was way back in the day. Things have changed. I get that. Policeman, man shot last night, cop, Phoenix. He's in critical condition, but he may pull out of it. They're still working. Day off, come back to work. Apparently, now the whole playoff scenario screwed. And how about this, Aldo? We're in the business of betting. All the prop bets are shot. If you had Cincinnati players, individual props, Ravens players, because the Ravens thought we got a shot still because they've beaten Cincinnati already. And by the way, Cincinnati was going to win that game against Buffalo. It was 7-3, and they were driving again. And I heard Joe Burrow say this. Half the guys might have still, wanted to play, but they didn't dare. They would have been eaten alive by the social media, which the NFL listens to very vaguely. I mean, very hard. So this whole thing, the only good to come out of it is the kid's okay. Everything else, it's a joke. They should play a standalone, push everything back a week.
There you go.
Yeah. Now, dog, everybody.
That's our show for today.
It's been inside me. I mean, I worked with a guy that was dying weekly, Walter Payton. He died, we went to work. We had to go to work. I'm sorry. It's a fact of life, folks. My father saw guys die right next to him. He fell off a roof on the 2nd floor, building the new Taft High School. He worked construction with guys. They died. Everybody worked. I'm old school that way. If you want to call me a boomer, go ahead. We showed up no matter what. By the way, I had a buddy. This one, I know this is different, but they do call football a war, don't they, Aldo? Mm-hmm. Well, I don't call it that anymore. You're physically gifted, but mentally, some of you guys, you couldn't handle it. Billy Weimer lived 3 doors from me, good friend of mine, killed in Vietnam, didn't stop the war for a second. And his buddies had to keep fighting. So I just come from a different time. I'm glad DeMar's okay. I am. I'm not an insensitive guy, man. I wanted the guy to pull through, but once you find out he's pulled through, that's the way I'm built. I move on.
Did you have a problem with the Skip Bayless tweet that he issued?
No, but he's got to do it better than that, Al.
Mm-hmm.
He seemed insensitive when he did it. Come on. It's too quick right after the fact. I understand, but there's a reason Skip didn't make it in Chicago. Okay? He was in Chicago. He didn't make it. He got into our business.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? But they argue out of script, and I hate it. I hate the whole thing. Oh, and he's always the same, doesn't change inflection. It's like sports radio. Sports radio wasn't meant to be done in suit coats. Not the way we planned it. Not the way I planned it. Sports radio was meant to be conversational like me and Carmen do. We don't do a script. You and I don't do a script. And how do we get through? Because that's what sports radio was meant to be. Not journalists that are talk show hosts that bring their tired brand, not all, to this business nationally and some locally.
You're on fire today, Mike North.
I just think that, I don't think the whole country stops. We always move on. And I didn't hear too much Bub the last 3-4 days. When I found out he was okay, you know me, I'm wired that way. I think you are too. We move on and we get on because I'm glad he's safe. And I don't know if he's going to play again. This might be something else. We had a guy come back from gunshot wounds.
Mm-hmm.
And he played in the Bear game. The kid that got shot at the first week of the season, or the last week of preseason for the Washington, was it Commanders now? The Commanders. And good runner too. So there's been some crazy stuff this year. There really has.
Well, fortunately that year is over, and that includes after today's game, the 2022 season.
Absolutely.
After the 2022, thank you very much.
I just painted everything as dark and bleak. Now we're really going dark.
Now we're going much darker,
and now it's worse.
How would you characterize this 2022 season of the Chicago Bears?
A disaster. The rebuild is in place. The biggest fans of the Bear rebuild, it's funny, are White Sox fans. I found that amazing. They haven't learned their lesson yet. The same group and the same group of media. I'm very mad at the Bears, once again, as I've been most of my life. But here's what I don't understand. How can't you play Justin Fields? You can break a record. You busted your ass all year. The guy killed himself for you. Almost died. He's been tossed around. Now you're saying, wait a minute, we want to preserve him. No. He needs 36 yards. Give the fans something. That's what they used to do.
Mm-hmm.
We'd lose games, but Sayers would break the touchdown record. We'd lose games, but Butkus would be all pro.
Mm-hmm.
We'd lose games, but we'd see records broken, and if they had a chance to break them. Now you sit them? Wait a minute. You let this guy play with, and he has a lot of responsibility, believe me, for this season. I believe he's just never going to be an above-average passer from the pocket. That's just me. But that doesn't mean he won't be effective. He's a once-in-a-lifetime type dude, and that the way that he runs is even cooler than Lamar Jackson and some of these other guys.
Mm-hmm.
You're 36 yards away. But what, are the Bears ashamed of this record? You don't want him to get hurt? Eberflus said they need a win. Eberflus said, if anybody needs a win, it's Justin Fields. What happened?
Mm-hmm.
It's called the first pick in the draft, because they'll probably trade down and get some people since they screwed up the Claypool deal. You don't trade a 2 for a receiver. Receivers are a dime a dozen. And now the kid's starting fights on the sideline. He's frustrated. This kid's got some issues. He says he's going to come back bigger next year. I don't care. You should have never traded a 2 for a wide receiver. at the time, because you just got rid of your, and boy, was it fun to hear these guys say Baltimore's become so much better defensively since last night on the game, since Roquan Smith. You're 100 under the cap. Maybe you should have signed a 25-year-old. Now you got to fill that spot. So I'm just mad they're not letting them. I don't know how you feel about this, Al. I'm pissed off. And I think he wants to play. And if he doesn't, shame on him. And he's not banged up enough to sit. Mm-hmm. That I have found out. He could have played. So what's your take?
Well, Justin is reportedly very upset that the doctors have told him that he's not playing. And he was peeved, was the word that was reported. So he wants to play. And I think this is a decision that was clearly made by Ryan Poles, because on Sunday, Matt Eberflus said, yeah, if he's good to go, he's going to play. Yeah. And so on Monday, all of a sudden he started to soften that a little bit. Well, we'll see. And then by Wednesday, he was deemed as not playing. And so that clearly is part of the tank that Ryan Poles has set up for the entire 2022 season.
Well, wait a minute. He's lost 9 in a row. We've lost 9-10 games in a row. We haven't won since Patton was a corporal. We haven't won since Christ. We haven't won since Christ was a child. Are you kidding me? I mean, we don't want to take a chance on winning with a guy that's had a chance on the last set of downs. 6 of the last 9 weeks. What a joke these guys are now. And Eberflus absolutely being told what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Credibility gone, buddy. Credibility gone. 37 yards. What? Because you never had a chance to break a record? Nobody's sitting me if I have a chance to break that record. Nobody. I don't care if you like the record or not. You let him break Bobby Douglas's record, which isn't a good omen for you, Justin. But you're 36 yards away from a former MVP, which gives you hope and gives you foundation for next year. And they take it from you. They take it from you. It's so bare. What's the difference between the first and second pick? Maybe, I mean, seriously, come on.
Mm-hmm.
They'll screw it up anyway.
Mm-hmm. Well, and frankly, frankly, there's no reason to believe that even if Justin started, the Bears would win. You know, I mean, it's.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
They're going to lose. I think we got a shot this week.
Yeah.
What do they do if this kid wins? They probably bundle him up, take him in a plane, and drop him outside the water crib in Lake Michigan, and he's never seen again. What's this kid's name? The kid that
Nathan Peterman.
Yeah, Peterman. We won. Yeah, there's a sedan outside.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, the kids in East St. Louis going, "Hey, everybody."
Unknown user says, legit, it amazes me any Bears fan can stay a Bears fan after the garbage put out by this franchise. Now we have to pretend Fields is some future superstar because he can run? Wow. Yeah, I think he agrees.
Well, I will say this. He can't pass right now the way that he should, but he can get better. But running quarterbacks aren't going to win. They aren't. I mean, sooner or later, you're going to get hurt, and it's a tough thing to do. Look at Mahomes is a pocket passer, but he's a great player, and he's got a little bit of running in him, a little bit. Brady still around, all these pocket guys, for people that crap on Ryan Tannehill. How you doing now? Huh? How you got everybody crapped on Ryan Tannehill? Oh, they're never going to win with him. They lost 7 in a row. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So media doesn't know crap for the most part, including me at many times. I admit it. At least I come real about everything. I come with a heart, but I also come with business, a business and a look ahead type of situation. This would be a good foundation for Fields. I broke a record. And for the people that said in his first year, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. He would have been.
Mm-hmm.
You take his spikes, you take his jersey, you take his helmet. This is the ball he broke Lamar Jackson's record with. It's in a display case in Canton. And these two jokers tell him no. And they have the doctor do it. Bears used to have a guy named Dr. Fox that did the same thing. They told Peyton to sit out one game. Peyton said, I don't want to. They made him. And Freddie O'Connor backed the doctor. Peyton hated Freddie O'Connor from that day on. He only missed one game in his career. And it was because of the team doctor and the running backs coach. So they've done this before.
There it is.
You don't get this information. You know how I know that? He told me. Walter did. That was my source, because I'm not a guy that goes, well, sources say. I'll tell you who said it. He told me. Period.
There
and
you
that's
go.
what players do.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Right?
Well,
I mean, how do you not let if you had a record, Aldo, to break, that could put your stuff, and you're not a selfish player. The kid's proven to be a leader. Would it? And they told you no. After you didn't win games, but you almost died trying.
Right.
That shows no appreciation. And also shows me a mentality of Ryan Poles that I'm automatically now a negative on him. I am. I'm not predicting anything for the Bears with this guy until I see what he's got. He hasn't shown me anything. And Fields, the last guy took a beating. You're 5-20 or something. I'm 5-21, 5-22. You're a great runner. That's all you are right now. He's a wildcat quarterback, and he's what I wanted, which worked, Aldo. He was like a wishbone guy all year.
Right.
And it worked.
Right.
They just didn't have the extra runner. That's all.
Yeah. Steve and me, and along with other people, want to know, would you then take a quarterback in the draft like a Bryce Young? And if so, what would you do with Fields? So would you try to trade Fields? Maybe you get a couple of first-round draft picks. People are saying trade the draft pick and pick up players, but not a lot of people are saying, why not trade Fields for draft picks?
I've heard people say that, which tells me those people are not sold. But so the rest of the league watches him, and he's a talent. If Fields goes to a real good team, I could see him getting to the playoffs and doing well. Look, I'm watching Lowry Markkinen put up 50 points, and he couldn't get out of his own way with the Bulls. Okay, now the game's changed. You don't play D anymore in the NBA. The average over/under is 235. But I never thought. 50's the new 20. I get it. But Lowry Markkinen's putting up 50 points, and he couldn't get out of his own way with the Bulls. So it's who you go to. It's who you go to. If New England, I think, would try. You know what's funny? Mac Jones. I don't even know if they're sold on him in New England. They like him. But I don't know what some of these teams, if they had a chance to get Fields, I think there's teams that would do it.
Yeah.
I think there's teams that definitely would go after him. But I don't know if you get 2 first-round picks, because you got this record going against them. You got fumbles going against them. He's got a lot of rough edges. This wasn't the way it's supposed to be. I heard when you trade up, this is what I heard with the last guy, you're supposed to automatically know what you're doing. I'm hearing he's got to learn to read defenses. He's not doing it right. I'm hearing stuff leak out. So I don't think the Bears are convinced themselves yet, but I think you can't take a quarterback next year. I think you keep Justin Fields for another year else. I do.
I've got a couple of bet ideas, but I want to do that after I play.
You can do whatever you want. You're the godfather of the bar room. I've tried to tell you that for the last 30 some years.
Let's take a listen to this spot done by Mike North regarding our sponsor, which is it's 30 years old, this spot, which is a testament to the business that they're still doing their job.
If you're injured at work, don't try to be a hero and work in pain. Immediately tell your boss how you were injured and seek medical treatment. Then call my guy, attorney David Spada, to make sure that your rights are protected. David will fight for the payment of your medical bills, lost wages, and settlement. Insurance companies and employers have individuals representing their interests. Why not you? You must have an experienced attorney on your side. All fees are contingent upon your recovery. Call David Spada at 847-729-COMP. That's 847-729-2667.
847-729-COMP.
I love it.
Thank you, David. Which reminds me, I gotta bill him.
Listen, Dan Aguirre, who's in town, he and I are going to the Bears game today. He gave me, kind of inspired me to come up with an idea, because he thinks that the Bears are going to win today, and Lovey is. The Bears are going to win, yeah, and Lovey is going to win, and so that the Bears are going to somehow play better with Peterman, because that's the Bears, right?
I think you look at Cutler couldn't get out of his own way. We brought in Josh McCown. He was rolling.
Exactly.
He comes back, and we said, let's bring back Cutler, and we lost. We did. Right. He was 3-2, McCown, and we bring back Cutler. They couldn't win a game. Done.
Right.
Didn't get the playoff.
Justin Fields had 254 yards passing against the Green Bay Packers. That was his season high. So over or under, will Nathan Peterman have today against the Vikings more than 254 yards or under 254 yards?
Is that what it is today, though? Is that what his thing is?
No.
What his over-under
No,
is?
I just made this up myself.
Oh, okay. I'm going to tell you no. I think that the Bear running game is going to Minnesota can be beat. You know what? I love the Bears today. And when I say I love the Bears, it usually comes out not too good. But you know what? They know they're going to lose. I asked John Yurkovich. He played on a 2-14 Cleveland team or a 2-12, and I said, he answer it, but he did answer it. I go, did you guys know you didn't have a chance to win? Did you guys tank? I asked him this on ESPN 1000. Great couple months, guys. Jeff Agris, ready to go. But I would say that I lost my train of thought. I was
Yurko.
Yurko. I was praising my company or the company I work at. Yurko says to me, Mike, we didn't really tank, but when something bad happened, we knew that was curtains because the other team would get momentum. They'd lose heart. It happened every week. Nothing changed. So it's not really tanking. They want to win. I think the Bears want to win today. And I think, why does Justin Fields get the day off and the other 52 guys got to play? Why? He didn't have a hand in their losses, just their wins? I don't get it. Who needs to work? Justin Fields. This game could help him. And this win would put something in his pocket and, to get into next season. They don't want to do that for him. They don't want to help him break a record, and they don't want to help him win a game anymore.
That is true. It appears to be true. Okay, so you've got the under Peterman under 254 yards.
Yes,
passing.
Sir.
Now, season
and
high.
I think the Bears will cover the 7.5.
Okay, so you're probably going to say now Fields was sacked 7 times when he played Detroit last week in the worst game, one of the worst games in Bears history.
Can I give you the award of the video of the year?
Which one?
That one you did last year.
Thank you. Get rid of the effing ball.
I'm sorry. He was like a second-year guy in high school. I'm sorry. And Claypool was waiting there, and he just took a sack. And so that goes into what we've been saying. The offensive line needs help, but it's not as bad as you think because this kid, there's a reason Aldo gives the show works because Aldo is fair. I'm considered unfair, but I come up with good things that Aldo thinks about. He comes up with good things that I think about, and we come to a common conclusion. Here's what I do know. He's patient. And when he explodes like he did for the nation last week on Twitter, he's lost a little bit in Justin Fields himself. He can't fool me one bit.
Yeah, I mean, the guy has played 2 NFL seasons, and his progress as a passer is like, where is it? So, so I'm hoping with more help next season, a better offensive line, more weapons, I'm hoping he'll take that big leap, but I'm frustrated.
I know, and that's all right. That's okay. We're Bear fans. We want to win. Right. That's been lost in this whole thing.
Exactly.
It's all about fantasy football. Hey, I won my fantasy league. Oh, by the way, good luck. There's a guy in a league that I know that's in a $10,000 winner league that's ruined because of the stuff would happen.
Yeah. Wow.
They don't know what they're going to do.
Well, for 10%, I'll give him some ideas.
That's so all right.
So will Nathan Peterman be sacked over or under 7 times today?
Under.
Okay.
He'll get rid of the ball.
Yeah, exactly.
He'll get rid of the ball within 3. You know what? I did when you came out with that great video, and folks, you go to North of Barroom. Aldo's the best. He wears his heart on his sleeve, but he'll give you an opportunity. But I mean, you'll see. I mean, enough. I mean, you got to be able to pass the football right away. You got to be able to get the job done. And I think this guy, Peterman, doesn't want to get killed. He won't try to run. He'll look for his checkdowns. He knows that part of the game. Oh, yeah. If you put Peterman's head in Justin Fields' head, or or give Peterman Fields physical abilities, you got a superstar quarterback.
Yep. I posted that video and a lot of people came after me. Well, what do you expect? He's trailing 38-10. What's he going to do with a 5-yard pass? And I'm like, well, now it's 2nd down and 17 as opposed to 2nd down and 6.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, you think, you know what? I blocked 12 accounts last week that were giving me crap about. And every one of them, one guy I laid out there, I go, look at this guy's account. No followers. The last Twitter that was sent was in November. Just come at me with your real name.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I mean, not one of them had more than 70 followers. Most of the last tweets had been sent like in December 5th or, you know what I mean?
Sure.
So don't play that game. I check and then I just block you. That's it.
Exactly. I got one more for you. Fields' most interceptions, he's done it in 2 games, was 2 interceptions against the Houston Texans and then a couple of weeks ago against the Green Bay Packers. Do you think Peterman throws over or under 2 interceptions?
If I think the Bears are going to win, it better be under.
Exactly. Okay, I got
I bet 7.5, it better be under. But you know what's funny, Aldo? I'll tell you where the NFL lost their steam. The last 3 weeks have been horrid for whatever reasons. Competition with the young man, the fact that there's teams that are absolutely brutal that shouldn't be in the playoffs. The addition of a playoff team has hurt the game.
Oh my goodness, yes.
It's a joke. Everybody's surprised now. Oh, how can there be a team that gets to host home field if they're 8-8 and they win the South? You didn't know this before you did this? That this was going to happen? It was great with 4 teams in each conference. It was special. It was perfect. 16 games. And people are going to go, and then they're going to preach safety to us. What game were they playing the other night? What game was Buffalo playing? Was it their 16th? Was it their 17th? I don't know, but that's a lot of games. Now, if they only had 16 games, and you didn't hear this on most of the TV shows, because I have like 14 hours a day. I just sit in the same spot and think about nonsense, okay? And look and watch Clark Gable movies, and then look away when he gets frisky with Joan Crawford. Anyway,
yeah.
17 games. If they kept it at 16, they would have played this game.
Yeah.
The NFL always bites themselves in the ass. It's the same league that in this day and age, you have to go to Amazon. I didn't watch one game. One Thursday night game. Didn't watch one. The Bears were on TV when they were on Thursday nights. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
I think they were, yeah. Or they didn't play. Did they play a Thursday night game?
The Bears this season? Yeah.
Was it Washington?
It was the Commanders. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. I watched it. So I'm trying to figure out this whole nonsense. I don't get it. I don't want to get it. In Denver this year, this is the first time it's happened. Mainly because Denver Broncos stink. The handle on gambling for the month, $145 million on the NBA, $135 million on the NFL. The first time the NFL has ever lost to the NBA anywhere in any month. Because the Nuggets are really good and the Broncos are really bad. But that's still astounding because people bet on all the games that the NBA beat them.
Wow.
It's a tougher bet now. You don't know who's playing.
Yeah. It really is. I mean, I'm taking a break from betting because it's so strange now. It's not like it used to be. I mean, and I've never been a big time gambler, but it just seems like it's harder and harder because there's no rhyme or reason to what's going on the football field, on sports fields, and it's very frustrating. But I'll get back to it because I'm really been enjoying it, especially thanks to you. With your wise,
it doesn't sound like things have been well for you lately.
I'm down to $5.
I don't want to open things up here, but you know, every time somebody tells me, every guy, I just quit gambling. I've never heard too many guys go, I'm 10-2. My last 12 games, I quit. No. When everybody quits, there ain't no thing as a 1-800 number. When you finally quit as when you finally quit as a man gambling, it's not a 1-800 number. It's like Tammy Wynette used to sing, DIVORCE. Unless you STOPIT.
That's right. When my wife Donna says, "How come there's $500 missing from our checking
Where's
account?"
the money for the Frigidaire?
Exactly.
Illinois took in $1 billion this month.
Uh-huh.
You know how many people on their credit cards are going to have to declare bankruptcy? I'm not kidding, folks. You got to gamble responsibly.
Yeah.
Keep it within your limit. Make sure you got a budget. Don't get crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like I mean, when I was making oodles of money, I of course you bet more. Okay, but that's because you're making so much money. Like Jadeveon Clowney said. He said this week, they go, "What are you going to do?" He goes, "I'll find another sucker to pay me." He'd be off my list right there. That wasn't a savvy business move. You're not playing for me.
By the way, that was a parody account, so he really didn't say that.
He didn't?
No. He didn't.
Sorry, Jadeveon. But you know what? It was a true account. One big hit.
By the way, before King Pukin Nation leaves, he says he's going to work. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
He had a question. Do you know who the Bears' last #1 draft pick was in the draft? Which is really an interesting question because it's a
I'm
guy.
going to go 19. I'm going to go the Bradshaw. But that wasn't #1.
Yeah, they lost the coin
They
flip.
lost. Mike Hull did it. Mike Hull was our pick because he was O.J. Simpson's blocking back. Think about that. Think about that. Wait a minute. I'm starting to just get faint. I'll never forget. I'm asking who the hell's Mike Hull? They show O.J. Simpson running wild, and they'll show one block by a guy, but they made him a feature back, right?
That's right.
And he was horrible. He was horrible.
He was no Bobby Hall, that's for sure. He was Mike Hall. Well, the #1 draft pick was some guy named Bob Fenimore, who ends up his rushing career in the National Football League with 189 yards.
What year was this?
1940.
Oh, okay.
1948.
Yeah, and if the Bears would have won the coin toss, they would have taken Bradshaw. He would have been injured in 4 years and never made the Hall of Fame and been on TV.
That is so true.
I'm just being honest with everybody. He would have gotten mangled like Bobby Douglas. He would have been seen as a dumbass. He was called a dumbass winning 4 Super Bowls. He's a dumbass.
That's right.
Oh, believe me. Mitch Trubisky has taken his share in Chicago. Terry Bradshaw. In the early days of Pittsburgh, he couldn't spell cat if you spotted him the C and the T. I mean, come on.
King corrected me. It was 1947, not 1948. Thanks, King, a lot.
By the way, the greatest soccer player who ever lived, Pele.
Pele, yes, indeed.
Sorry.
Yep.
Yeah.
He actually, what's the story? He stopped a war because there was 2 countries fighting against each other, and they stopped to watch him play in a World Cup game or something.
No man ever handled a soccer ball as far as movement.
Yeah.
Than him. I mean, shooting, there were other guys that were good, but he was accurate. But to get the ball away from him, I've never seen anybody. I don't care if it's people go, "Mike, you don't know anything about soccer." Yes, I do. I told Lee Stern soccer would never be big in America. I'm waiting for his response. Okay? I mean, I knew Pele was good. All right? Oh, what's this? Also love the show. Real Bears Talking. Oh.
Pappy, you're the icing on the cake because you tell it like it is.
Well, I'm just trying to be honest, guys. I felt bad about how sometimes you feel bad with the way you got to say it. But you got to say it. There's no alternate opinion with reason. If you give an opinion like I do, you better have reasons. See, although I'm sure there was 2 or 3 times maybe where he said, "Wait a minute." But then I keep the conversation going, and I'm going, "Wait a minute. This happened. That happened. He's okay. He hit him." There's the real heroes of the pyramid. I give the whole story. I just don't weep at a desk and say, "This is the worst thing that ever happened to America." No, he's the best thing. And you know what? I love the NFL official who finally said it. Thank you. We've done everything we can about safety. I mean, seriously. I mean, the roughing the passer alone. is something that they got to look into.
Oh, gosh, yes.
And pass interference, 50, 40-yard penalties.
Mm-hmm.
You got to look into that.
Thank you.
Because the crafty guys like Aaron Rodgers can do, and Brady, I don't know why Fields didn't do this more this year. Throw 50-yarders and hope for interference.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
they couldn't get separation anyway.
Right.
So you got receivers besides Cole.
Mm-hmm.
The other guys couldn't get a lot of separation.
Mm-hmm.
So throw it up for grabs. 3 out of 4 times you'll get penalties. The Bears never did it.
Yep.
Just run. You know, he's already like 28 years old in health years. He is, folks.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Yeah, he's taking a lot of beatings. I'll tell you one thing.
He's one of the most. I give him credit. I wanted the last guy, but that's fine. And by the way, I want to congratulate the Pittsburgh Steelers, who today have a chance, but I don't know if they're going to get it.
Yeah.
I want to congratulate. This is the kind of guy I am, Kenny Pickens, for helping guide them. They're scoring 16 points a game, Kenny. Your running game, Najee Harris, has been outstanding. Your defense has been great, but you made a pass last week that not too many players can make. You laid it right there, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And that kept the drive going. So I'm fair. But here's another thing. I want to congratulate Mitch if they make the playoffs. He started two of the games that he started, he won. But the biggest one is when Pickens got the concussion, brought him back. He won 3 games for them in order for them to get into the playoffs. So I'd like to congratulate the Steelers. But I think, and I'll give everybody a pick, Cleveland beats them today. And Tomlin's done a great job, but Cleveland beats them today.
Well, it is the Browns are getting 2.5. The total to win plus 115 for the Browns, and the over under is 40.5. So you're picking Cleveland.
I'm taking them on the show here because I got to get you straightened out.
Thank you, please. I appreciate it. I love it.
How many guys? I know every guy out there that's watching this. Will watch this because the show's doing great, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
That have done Jackie Gleason. And then the wife yells, "Get you the money," and you're going to say something. There we go.
I love it.
Yep.
Mike, I'm interested in your opinion that which Chicago sports team is going to be the next to win a championship, and will you and I be alive for it?
The Stars, a women's soccer team. I love them. They sent me a jersey. At least
cool.
Oh yeah, with the 4 stars, they're good. I'm going to be honest with you. The Hawks are an embarrassment. The way they handled their business. The Bears, Poles lost me on this deal with Fields. I'm done with him until further notice. I'm not happy with him at all. Can't believe you would snatch a kid. What are you, jealous of the kid? You afraid he's going to be, break a record and put the Bears on the front page for something good? The Bulls are just an abomination. They signed a guy to a max contract. The odds before they signed him were 55-1. After they signed him, the odds were 55-1. Didn't move the needle. They're the only team that says we got to get this guy. We need this guy, and then, they sign him, and they're as far away. They're beating better teams though. They just can't beat the bad teams.
Yeah.
So, and then you got, of course, the White Sox, who have been. You have to put that up at this point.
Exactly.
The White Sox fans, I've said this all along, are the biggest bunch of suckers that ever lived.
My goodness.
I've seen it over the last 4 years. They're all waking up to that. Well, no, they're not. But there's no bub on them. I mean, the only positive thing is you can't win too many titles without an Italian. They signed Benintendi. So, yeah, they should look at all they got to do for him to pay a salary is have a Benintendi beef stand at the ballpark.
That's it.
And have him before the game just some out and then go play ball and hit a homer. And if he hits 2 homers in the game, everybody gets a free beef.
I love it.
Wait, they don't like promotion over there. Sorry.
Boy, that sounds tasty.
And the Cubs
yes,
are the team. But I'm pissed about Contreras. They're all fools. I told them, don't trade Contreras. Don't get rid of Contreras. They didn't do it last year. They didn't get rid of Happ. They decided to let Contreras walk, and the worst thing that could ever happen to them happens. He signs with the Cardinals. And they say he's nothing. He's exactly the guy we needed. While the Cubs are saying he can't do this right. You know, the same media that tells you Grandel's a good framer. He can't do this right. They print instead of giving their own thoughts. They print what the team tells them.
Yeah, exactly.
And that pisses me off. Contreras going to the Cardinals was a massive error by the Cubs. He'll haunt us for the next 5 years. I promise that.
All right, you heard it here.
We don't have anything else.
50-minute mark.
What do you want to do? You don't want to pick. You don't want to pick games anymore, I guess.
No, I don't want to. Forget that.
You know, I mean, we're a pick show, and since you took such a massive, what do you have to trade into? You have to trade in the truck? What happened? I mean,
Mike, I get the quick question from Steven. I was not aware of this. Steven says that ESPN reversed the E on their logo on the announcers' microphones to look like the number 3 for Damar Hamlin on last night's game with Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. You think that was a nice honor?
No, it's all posturing. You're a network. You can talk about it. It's a verbal communication like you and I know. And the fact you do that, I mean, that's part of the hypocrisy of all this. But I understand it's a popular thing right now. But like I said, the kid's going to be fine. And there's people still giving eulogies, crying on the air, and he's fine. And I'm happy for him because, man, it was bad there for a while, you know. And Bart Scott, you can leave anytime you want. To blame an opposing player, for God's sake.
That was reckless.
That was reckless. I don't know, Aldo. You were in the supervisory position for a long time over there at the TV station. Did you have any issues with any of it? Do you think because of the way things have changed, the time, the wokeism, that it's okay to do now? And we have moved on from things like playing football the day after a president or 2 days after a president's killed. We have moved on. And let me just remind Aldo that the Franco Harris pass that came back to him,
immaculate reception.
Jack Tatum hit that guy. Okay. The ball went back 20 yards, folks, and landed on the fly. He's the guy that called himself an assassin and basically turned one guy into a paraplegic. But that hit in the Pittsburgh game, nobody ever talks about it. Watch that play and watch how far the ball goes back. That's how much of a maniac that guy was.
Oh, Tatum was. He lived up to that nickname.
Absolutely, guys were terrified. You know.
Yeah. Well, you know, things have changed a lot, and so you have to take a lot of things into consideration and so forth. But I think, you know, it's corporations that make the decisions now.
You're right. That's it.
So
I should have known that before I told you that, because you had to do stuff they didn't want that you didn't want to do.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, I could tell you stories after stories, but we'll do that for another show. We'll do that.
I can get you.
This is our last show of the season, Mike, and so I just wanted to thank you personally for inviting me to be on your show.
Inviting you?
Yeah, you invited me. You said, I got an opportunity to do this show. They got a sponsor. I want you to do it. You invited me.
Nah, you're the man. You and me are tied at the hip, whether you like it or not. I know. I was in the kitchen the other day. I heard you and Donna. It's something. I think he's losing it. I heard or something. And then you guys walked into the dining room. You know, but no, we got some special. The Doodles used to come up to me. Now he just walks away.
That's right. He does that to me too. So I don't know.
Well, we got things coming on. We'll be talking about it. But you know what? I've had a lot of fun. I love the bar room. I love the fact it's been a great platform. It's been nothing but luck for me since I've been with Aldo. We've grown the company. It's like at 13,000 on Twitter now. Make sure you go to the bar room, folks. Make sure you pass the word around. Make sure you tell them, you know, you may not agree with these guys. Sometimes you may not agree with Aldo. You may not agree with North. You know, he'll have a hard take on some things, but at least you'll hear both sides of the story. So
exactly.
I thank you, Aldo, for everything. And, you know, I mean, I'm not going to say that I was off my game because I was ready to play today. But when you when you're putting connecting in your hair, you know, you got your mind on things.
Earlier in the show, Laz said, well, at least your scalp isn't itching.
Yeah, but my hair's curling up.
hilarious. By the way, you have an open invitation from Vinny Parisi to join him on his Crosstown Crosstalk show. So I'll try to make that happen.
Yeah.
He's on live Thursdays at 2 p.m., but they can
I can go on with him.
Okay.
I'll go on. Let him give me a call. I'll come on with him.
I will do that.
But I don't want no threats.
That's why I figured I better let you know.
I saw him at the. He goes, "You better throw a strike at the bowling thing." I got a gutter ball. I was terrified.
That was a great time. It was great.
These are my three brothers. They're all different colors. When Vinny was born, he had a 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah, Vinny Parisi, co-host of the Bar Down Hockey Talk and Crosstown Crosstalk. That gentleman there is Mike North. He is the
David Spada.
Make sure, thank you, David Spada, and make sure you catch Mike North on ESPN 1000.
Friday and Saturday.
Yes, Fridays and Saturdays.
And 148 with Yurko and them. They're great company.
And congratulations to ESPN on their climb up the ratings. And we will. There's a show coming up after this. It's called the Marfly Tailgate Show, and we bid you adieu.
I love them.
Yeah, they're great guys. Take care, Mike.
So long, everybody.